Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome to another episode of Short Shifts. Jeffrey J. Hulavecchio here with Christopher Ryan Topher Scott. Toph has no idea what my question is going to be. Toph, if you happen to go undrafted or untendered, which, by the way, people listening, is most people in junior hockey, at all the leagues, you go undrafted, you go untendered. What's your next step? Because USHL drafts just happened here. I have a couple guys who thought they were going to get drafted and weren't, and I could tell that they were hurt. And, you know, I'm telling them, hey, it really does not matter. Like, it really does not matter. Everyone's got to go to camp, and you got to make the team. You know, use this to fuel you, like things like that. And we'll get into that. But I think in today's world, kids take it way harder because they see all the buddies on social media and the teams and the organizations tweeting and Instagramming and talking about their guys who've been drafted, right? But I want to go over, what do you do when you're not drafted?
I love this question, dude. It's like my favorite thing to talk about in the entire world. And I just did a resiliency talk for a big time agency in the NHL because this stuff is really important. This stuff is really important because the path from A to B is never a straight line. The path to A to B is filled with ups and downs and twists and turns and everything. So the first thing I will say is some of the best teachers that I've had was getting cut. Like, legit, some of the best teachers that I ever had was getting cut because it's a great reminder that you're always needing to get better. You're always needing to get better. And so you have a choice. When you get cut, you have a choice. You can pout and you can mope and you can feel sorry for yourself, or you can get to work and say to yourself, I'm going to prove everybody wrong that didn't take me, and I'm going to show them. I'm absolutely going to show them. Now, that's a hard thing to do, but the even harder thing to do is to actually go out and outwork everybody. Because here's the thing, like, and I've seen this, you know, being a college coach, being involved in hockey forever, you know, coaching youth hockey for a little bit, like let me give you a little bit of a secret here for the kids that didn't get drafted. Do you have any idea how many kids get drafted and then they think they're done and they're good enough and they stop working and they get a big head and they feel like because I can put it up on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or whatever the hell you're using nowadays, like, they think they're pretty freaking cool. And the work ethic, I'm telling you, I've seen it. The work ethic goes away because they think they've made it. You haven't made crap. Like, you haven't made it until you play a game. And then you really haven't made it until you play a season. And then you really haven't made it until you matriculate to the next level. Right. So, like, what I will say is the draft doesn't mean dick all. Like, at the end of the day, it really doesn't. Like, the draft is a cool thing for a day, but like, the work starts after that. Even the NHL draft, like, most of these guys aren't playing in the NHL for 3-4 years down the road. If you're lucky, like 2 years down the road. It very rarely ever happens. Is it like the year after you get drafted, maybe a couple first rounders, but like, for the most part, you're going back to junior or you're going back to college. And you got to get back to work. And so, like, there's a journey piece to this, and just think about it from like a logical perspective. Player A is 20% better than player B. Player A gets drafted, player B doesn't. Okay. And let's call it a junior draft. So let's say you're 15, USHL, OHL, whatever, right? You now have, you know, if you're going to college hockey, if it's the USHL draft, you now have another probably 3 or 4 years until you get to the next level. And then another 4 or 5 years until you get to the next level. That's what, math major Vechs, 8 to 9 years. If you're 20% better at 15 and you stop working, and the guy who's 20% worse outworks you by 50%, that's easy math, guys. Like that's easy math. And I've seen the best player. I just did a study. I gotta publish this, but like I was just looking at tenders in the USHL from like this year until from when they started, and like the success rate of tenders in the USHL in terms of a great USHL career and going on to do big time things in hockey isn't that great. It's not that great. And we've said the stats before. Callie Larson, who you and I talked to, who's the GM of Dubuque, one of the top GMs in the USHL. Their team's playing for a Clark Cup championship against Fargo starting this week. He was talking about the success rate of like a USHL draft pick in the phase one playing an entire year at the USHL is like what, 36, 37% or something like that. Like 60 something percent of the kids who get drafted in the USHL phase one draft don't play a full year in the USHL. Like insane numbers. So I kind of, I don't know if I went on tangents there or whatever, but like, dude, when you get punched in the face, you have a choice. You can get back up and swing and choose to do something about it, or you can feel sorry for yourself and quit. And which way are you going to go? Honestly, which way are you going to go? Vechs and I both in our careers had those choices, not once, not twice, multiple times where we got kicked in the teeth and we had to make a decision on where we wanted to go in our careers and where we wanted to go in our lives. And because we chose the hard way, like choose your hard, right? Choose your hard. You can have the hard of right now of being like, you know what, crap, I'm not good enough. Like that's hard to hear. That's really hard to hear, but then you can do something about it. Or you can choose the hard of 10 years down the road, wishing that you made a different decision on how you chose to see yourself getting cut or how you chose to see yourself not getting drafted. Choose your hard. Which one do you want? Sorry, go.
Don't be sorry. I absolutely love it. I obviously believe in everything you said. Like I was talking to a parent.
I'm sorry to cut. I'm just so sick of like excuse makers. I'm so sick of excuse makers because at the end of the day, like, we talked about it on our last short shifts of like what we see in elite players. Ownership was a big part of that. Like, I'm so sick of seeing parents and seeing kids make excuse for themselves on why something didn't happen or didn't go their way. Like, deal with it. What are you going to do to get better? Like, what are you going to do to change your circumstances so that kind of thing never happens again? Never happens again. 90%, almost 90% of the players that played in the NHL last year, had to play in the AHL. What does that mean? That means that 9 out of 10 players that played in the NHL last year got cut when they got to pro hockey and had to spend time riding a bus. I played with guys in the coast, and you know what? Guys in the coast, like, guys are great guys, but there are guys in the coast that are elite talents. But if you ask those guys why they're in the coast and not in the AHL or the NHL, it's excuses out the ass. The guys that don't make excuses aren't playing in the coast. They're playing in the AHL or they're playing in the NHL. You know what I mean? Like, change your circumstances. Do something about it. Like, don't make excuses, man. And that is something that is so pervasive in our culture. But specifically, we're a hockey podcast. Our hockey culture right now is like people making excuses when things don't go the way that they want. And that's never going to get you anywhere. It's never going to get you anywhere. So I don't know. So you have a lot to say, I'm sure too. I took up way too much time, but like, I'm so tired of like seeing people make excuses. It's not going to get you anywhere.
I freaking love it, man. Toph is speaking absolute 100% facts straight up here. You get cut, you have a bad game, you have a bad weekend, a bad month, a bad season. Okay, now what? Pouting will get you nowhere. It will get you nowhere. It's your job to make tomorrow better. No one can do that for you. No one. And anything that happens to you negatively, I look at it as you have two choices. You sit in the corner, cry about it, pout, whatever. Or like Toph said, you get back up and you friggin' swing.
You find that dog.
You find that friggin' dog. All right. If you're our age, you're laughing right now. It is up to you what happens next in your story. No one can do it for you. Toph tears his ACL. Nobody talks to him. Guy winds up with 100 points, over 100 points in the Ivy Leagues and plays pro hockey. Me, meathead, no vision, injury in juniors, concussion right after I signed in the NHL. I still had a 10-year pro career, made a bunch of money, and got to see the world. You can decide what tomorrow brings, and it's up to you to figure that out, right? So guys who got drafted or didn't get drafted, guys who didn't get tendered, what are you going to do tomorrow to make all those teams wish they would have friggin' drafted you? Let's go share the show.
Mic drop.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.